dropped the stick, run to me, and pull me up. I'm terrible sorry. I said, I'm okay. You know, I'm okay. No, on a stunt guy, never say hurt. I'm okay. No. And he touched me and kissed my face. No. You know, just do whatever, but I ready to get hurt.
Lee's use of real martial arts, combined with his speed and director's eye, was groundbreaking.
Bruce Lee totally revolutionized the way unarmed combat would be presented on screen. What Bruce Lee had done, because he worked in Hollywood with so many quality filmmakers, came back, he learned which lens to use, how to move the camera, where to edit. And these are what make his fights so remarkable. The techniques sometimes are really quite basic. The way he shot them was revolutionary.
Yeah, his action is a kind of a new wave action. You know, he changed the whole thing. You know, because we have never seen fighting like that.
The whole sort of like fast and slow thing he did with the tension and the release. The scenes that would move, then stop, then move again. Bruce Lee really made that stylized and really built that up and turned that into something that, I think that's the influence for Western movies.
He made fighting entertaining. He made it fun. He made it dramatic. He made it emotional. And he really brought martial arts to the rest of the world.
But Bruce Lee disappeared almost as quickly as he'd emerged on July 20th, 1973, dying of a brain edema just weeks before Enter the Dragon was released. The cause was put down to an allergic reaction to a painkiller. His death sent shockwaves around the world, prompting the biggest public gathering in Hong Kong's history. He was laid to rest in Seattle, with former students Steve McQueen and James Coburn as pallbearers.
I had decided to send Bruce's body back to Seattle. It was not a popular opinion in Hong Kong because they thought of Bruce as their son in Hong Kong, but that's what I decided.
Bruce Lee's sudden death left a vacuum as the world clamored to see more of this new Asian superstar. A rash of Bruce Lee lookalikes and copycat films emerged, inspiring a whole new film genre, known as Bruceploitation.
And the whole Bruceploitation genre really took off after his death in the 70s, as film producers in Hong Kong were desperate to find, someone else to make some money off of.
And right after he died, it was Bruce Live, Bruce this one, Bruce Jump Over the Fruit, Bruce Jackson from Compton. It's all these Bruces. There's only one.
There's got to be over 50 to 100 titles of movies with Bruce Lee name in it that has no Bruce Lee. There have to be at least a dozen or more Asian actors that was called Bruce Lee by the advertisers, and they didn't even know about it because those movies are made in Hong Kong and just sent out to the world.
Bruce Lee had been working on his 5th film when he died, called Game of Death. He'd filmed what would amount to 11 minutes and 7 seconds of edited footage as he fought 3 styles of martial artists on his way up a pagoda.
What Bruce was trying to convey in the Game of Death was how to deal with different forms. One martial artist going against people using different fighting styles has to overcome each of them. So in order to do that, you have to be versatile. You can't just take the same approach to dealing with different problems.
But the footage presented the studio with a major problem: how to finish the film without Bruce Lee.
Years go by, Bruce has passed away, and then the Hong Kong film studio, Golden Harvest, wanted to do something with the film that existed from Game of Death. And I believe they made 2 films and spliced together another actor and parts Bruce and part this other actor, and it looks spliced together.
It looks like a joke. It looks like a gag, because the attempts to make it look like Bruce are in the early part of the movie are so laughable. There's a scene in which the face of a body double is obscured by sticking a photo of Bruce on a mirror.
A Among the many Bruce Lee imitators that appeared after his death, a few actors emerged who began to establish themselves as unique talents in their own right. Two of the most successful were former stuntmen and members of the Peking Opera School, Sammo Hung and Jackie Chan.
Really, the guy who was smart about it was Jackie Chan. When he finally got to have some sort of say in the direction of his career, stopped trying to imitate Bruce, and, you know, in the spirit of Bruce, found his own path by doing kung fu comedies.
After Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan is the biggest name in kung fu and action films. Nowadays to be found in Beijing more than Hollywood, he long had to struggle against being hailed as the next Bruce Lee.
Nobody can be a Bruce Lee. There's only one Bruce Lee. But all a director, martial art director, want every actor becoming a second Bruce Lee. The way you point, the way you fight, nobody can do it for him. But the audience, no, he's the best. Bruce Lee is the best.
Jackie has appeared in over 100 films, but is best known in the West for his appearances alongside Chris Tucker in the Rush Hour trilogy, playing a very different role to Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee is very strong. He's a very, like an iron guy. Nobody can beat him. I want to be underdog. Everybody can beat me. And when Bruce Lee punched like this, me after punch, hurt. I want to be a real human.
As well as opening the doors for action stars like Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee has also been the inspiration for many others.
I did a movie called Mindhunters, and I had a scene where I had to walk with a gun down this, it's like a dark military facility, and I really thought about Bruce Lee and really thought about the way he approached things when I was going through that scene, and just my movements. And when it played back on tape, it looked so fluid because I really thought about, you know, the way he approached things. So he definitely is very influential.
Like LL Cool J, Eddie Griffin says Bruce Lee inspired him professionally and made him want to take up martial arts.
Oh, I did this movie called Undercover Brother. And, you know, it's about this brother who, rather than use a gun, Undercover Brother solves it with his hands. He's a Bruce Lee fanatic. From the time I could remember Bruce Lee. It's the reason I got into the art.
As well as a multitude of Bruce Lee-inspired actors that emerged after his death, many filmmakers sought to pay homage to him by referencing him in their movies. Brett Ratner is one such director, duplicating the fight scene from The Game of Death, as well as the opening shot from Enter the Dragon.
I found that exact location that they shot at. I had someone take me there that worked on the movie, and that's where I shot the opening shot of Rush Hour. In Rush Hour 3, I did kind of the reverse. You had a Chinese guy, Bruce Lee, obviously fighting Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We reversed it. I had a black guy fighting a Chinese giant. You know, I said to my producer, find me the largest Chinese man you can. And he happened to be the second largest man in the world, which is Sun Ming, who's 7'9". So those Bruce Lee movies have tremendous influence on the choices I make.
Bruce Lee has been endlessly referenced in Hong Kong movies, Chinese movies, Japanese movies even, Canadian movies, but he's also been endlessly referenced in Hollywood movies. You've got him in the yellow tracksuit from Game of Death. You've got him right there in Kill Bill, Quentin Tarantino's film with Uma Thurman. In Rush Hour, you have uses of his yells and his cries that are in there. Anytime someone gives a yell in a Western movie, it's a Bruce Lee thing.
Running for your lives!
Filmmakers and actors across the globe cite Bruce Lee as their guiding influence to want to make movies. And despite only making 4 action films, his influence is being felt to this day.
His profound legacy is that he created, on a worldwide stage, Asian action cinema. And in the wake of that, you've had the success of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and The Matrix, and the Jackie Chan movies, and the Jet Li movies, and all that you've had. And you would not have had that without Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee changed the worlds of film, philosophy, martial arts, and physical fitness. But he also had a profound effect on the creative arts, influencing music and musicians around the world.
So what we're doing right now, we're in the studio with the RZA, got my crew in here, and we're working on a project called Afro Samurai. starring Sam Jackson and Lucy Liu. It's called You Already Know. Check it out.
Robert F. Diggs, a.k.a. RZA, is working on his latest film score. He's a prodigious music producer, rapper, and sometimes actor. He's also the mastermind of the hip-hop band the Wu-Tang Clan and a devoted fan of Bruce Lee.
You know, when I think about, Bruce Lee and martial arts and things and the influence on me, it's been a strong influence on me. Look at my first album. It's called Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers. That's basically taking the title Enter the Dragon, you know what I mean, and putting it and applying it to ourselves.
The group's 1993 debut, Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, was the first album to mix rhymes with dialogue sampled from underground Hong Kong movies. The band has sold nearly 6 million albums, all featuring snippets from producer RZA's personal collection of action imports.
1, 2, 3.
As well as being influenced by Bruce Lee and Kung Fu movies, RZA says there are also parallels between the improvisational nature of rapping and martial arts.
I come from the era of hip-hop where people would battle each other on the subway trains, in the school bathrooms, on the street corners, and it's almost like a martial art fight. You know what I mean? It's like a martial art fight, actually, because you're flowing, you're throwing your best weapons, which is your lyrical weapons, and you're trying to defeat this guy by saying the most wittiest thing.
Bruce Lee has a tremendous influence in the culture of like hip-hop, because it's really taking an ethnic icon and reappropriating this ethnic icon to your own ethnicity and to your own sort of outsider culture.
Bruce in the martial arts world is a virtuoso. He's constantly improvising. It's like Miles Davis with his hands and feet. And that's what hip-hop does, is improvising. You're freestyling on the mic.
Improvisation in Jeet Kune Do can be mirrored by broken rhythm. And this also reflects in rap music, jazz music, all sorts of music, rock music.
Improvisation lies at the core of breakdancing, where dancers are continually adapting their moves. This Brooklyn-based New York dance crew specialize in a dance form called uprocking, which mixes salsa, the hustle, and action moves, which were added to imitate a fight against an opposing dancer. The leader of the crew is Ralph Casanova, also known as King Uprock. He says Bruce Lee was a big influence on their dance style.
Rocking started in Brooklyn, where a lot of guys were gang members. And b-boying was really popular in the Bronx, where they were doing more of the backspins and stuff like that, acrobatic moves. See, everybody was watching Bruce Lee and learning different dances that they took something of him and added in the flavor of the dance they were doing.
After the launch of Enter the Dragon in the 1970s, dancers were quick to replicate Bruce Lee's Kung Fu moves and incorporate them into their dances. Across America, numerous different dance styles emerged, known to most today simply as breakdancing.
And a lot of karate moves had like windmills and backspins, which they didn't call it that, but we used to watch all these moves and just take whatever we saw and add into breaking and rocking and other dances.
The man responsible for creating the music for the film that first inspired these dancers is composer Lalo Schifrin. As well as Enter the Dragon, he received 6 Oscar nominations for classics such as Mission Impossible, Cool Hand Luke, Bullet, and Dirty Harry. He believes there are parallels between how he approaches composing and how Bruce Lee approached his own martial art.
He said to me, martial arts started in India 5,000 years ago. And there were traditions, so I brought the traditions. And I said, you know something? We have something in common. Because 2,000 years of tradition of European classical music, I learned it, I studied too. And I brought the rules, I brought the tradition, so we have something in common. And he was very happy.
The soundtrack to Enter the Dragon sold more than 500,000 copies, earning Lalo Schifrin a gold record.